Hello friends, my name is Richard Keith and it's my privilege to serve you as moderator of the Presbyterian Church in New South Wales and the ACT. Now first up, I want to say how proud I am of how you've responded in the current emergency. We've all had to make sacrifices, and on top of that, our church buildings have closed, our physical gatherings have had to stop, and we've all had to meet online. But the sacrifices that you have made have helped reduce the number of cases of the coronavirus in Australia. Now, I bet some of you who live in the country are wondering what all the fuss is about. And I get that. I live in a small town too. The difference is that in my small town, we had 6 cases and 1 person died. And how did she get it? She was on a bus trip in New Zealand. Now, I didn't know her, but people I do know did. So we've learned that this is not a city problem. This is our problem. The virus doesn't care where you live. It can hurt you. And it can hurt the people you care about. On the 8th of May, the Prime Minister announced the easing of restrictions. And from the 15th of May, we'll be able to hold church services for up to 10 people. Now that's not a lot of people, and it comes with a lot of conditions. We have to provide 4 square metres per person. We have to pay close attention to personal hygiene, and we have to keep a record of the people who attend. So maybe for your church, it isn't time to start church for 10. But maybe it is. Whatever you do, it will always be a local church decision. This is not a decision that someone is going to make for you. It's just a start without a guaranteed time frame. This isn't something we've done before. We are not travelling along a familiar path with well-known landmarks that we can see and recognise and know that we aren't far from home. There has not been a pandemic like this in living memory. No one knows how long it will take or what it will be like when we get there. But that is all the more reason why we can't afford to become impatient or to give up and lose all that we have gained. What I mean is that this present crisis is happening to all of us. It is exposing the assumptions of our formerly comfortable lives. It is showing us who we really are. And while you may be tempted to skip digital church next Sunday, remember that other people are hungering for it. They can't get enough of it. They suddenly realise that life is fragile and uncertain, and they're reaching out for God and for His people. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to be good citizens of Australia and good neighbours in our communities. We are going to stay connected to each other, and we are going to keep finding new ways of sharing the gospel and of pursuing God's mission with vigour, without leaving behind the weak and the vulnerable. In conclusion, it wouldn't hurt me to open up my Bible, because in Luke chapter 24, I find the story of the 2 disciples who were walking home along a familiar path. Their hearts were heavy and their steps were slow. But the risen Christ met them and walked along with them. And their hearts burned inside them as He shared from the Scriptures how it was God's plan all along that He would suffer before rising again. In this present crisis, we are walking along an unfamiliar path. Our hearts may be heavy and our steps may be slow, and it might be tempting to give up or to feel sorry for ourselves. In this present crisis, discover instead the life-changing truth that the risen Christ is with us in our journey, present in His Word and by His Spirit and in the fellowship of His people, even when they meet on Zoom. Let us walk with Christ and keep in step with His Spirit. and not give up until we find our way home together. Thank you for listening.